Genesis 43. Joseph is now the ruler in Egypt, and there's a famine, and so his brothers come trying to buy food. And they kneel before him, they bow before him, fulfilling the dream that Joseph had had that had made them so jealous years ago, that you, my brothers, will bow down to me one day. They didn't know it was Joseph. And he comes over to them, and it's very hard. He doesn't speak to them in Hebrew, he speaks to them in Egyptian through a translator, in order to put this distance between them and him. And all the time, he's not being hard to them at all. He's seeking their repentance. And 7 times in this record of the Joseph story, you read that Joseph cried, that he wept. And finally, he says to them, look, I'm not going to deal with you again unless you bring your younger brother Benjamin down, who was his brother by both mother and father were the same. And so they bring Benjamin down. And when he sees Benjamin, it says that he hurried, for his heart yearned over his brother, and he sought for a place to weep. And he went into his room and wept. And then he washed his face, came out and controlled himself, and served food to them. So you see how actually Joseph had an absolutely soft heart towards his brothers. But he spoke to them through an interpreter in another language. And he comes over with a hard face. And the brothers go and tell Jacob earlier that, the man who runs the thing, he's awful. Do you not see how this is how God comes over? But behind the apparent hardness of God, the problem of suffering. Why do children die? Why does this happen? Famine here, earthquake there. Why? Behind all that, there is another story that we cannot perceive at this moment. And behind all that, there is a God whose heart yearns and breaks for you and does not want to continue it, but he does so for our sakes. The man who's condemned in the parable that Jesus told of the talents comes to him and says, I knew you were a hard man, and that's why I didn't do your work. God is not a hard man. There is this front. But behind it, and this is where the Bible helps you so much, and where the Joseph story helps you, behind the apparent hardness of God, there is a heart that is breaking and that is yearning for you. God is not a hard man. He's got a heart that breaks for you.